I got you.
All right, creatures of the night, welcome to Talking Taker, episode 184 of our encyclopedic exploration, digging up the career of the greatest professional wrestling character of all time, The Undertaker. My name is Alex Dorio. I want to thank you for joining us for yet another round of Dead Man Talking, and I am joined, as always, by my tag team partner, my wrestling buddy. He is the Holmes to my Watson. He is the Starsky to my Hutch. He is Mr. Travis White. And Travis, just like those famous pairs of detectives, we are going to go on a little mystery hunt here as we try to unearth some of The Undertaker's hidden gems, searching for some buried treasure here on the WWE Network tonight.
Am I the Jack Sparrow to your Elizabeth Swan?
If you want to look at it that way.
The Scoob to your Shaggy?
Some may say that you're the Kid Rock to my Michael Cera.
Yeah, someone did say that. How dare he? No, we were discussing before we recorded. Like, I don't know who's should be more offended, you or me. Put that as a poll on Twitter. Who should be more offended, Travis or Alex?
At Gary Thorpe 12345, a loyal listener of the show, he watched our YouTube version of the podcast now, and you could say that our faces, our beautiful looks, were hidden gems for a really long time. People didn't know quite what we looked like, and Gary envisioned a world where I was Michael Cera because of my voice, and you were Kid Rock because of your voice. That's how he imagined us looking, and I'm not sure if he was disappointed with how we actually looked, or if it was an upgrade. I kind of need more information, but then sort of I don't want more information because, again, I'm not sure if I should be offended or what. But, I mean, both those guys are very famous and successful. Yeah, I guess that's good.
And one, hey, Hall of Famer.
Boom. WWE Hall of Famer, star of Joe Dirt.
The star of Joe Dirt, and Undertaker theme song writer. So
boom, tying it all together.
Bring it all back. Yeah.
And we're gonna be talking about that era, man. We're gonna be talking about the Biker Taker era. We're gonna be talking about the original Dead Man era. The Big Evil era. We're even going to be talking before Undertaker was even in the WWE, before he was even the Undertaker. We're going back to Mean Mark Callous days here. So let us fill you in a little bit on what we're doing here tonight, because it is a pause here in our final few episodes, unearthing the career, digging up the career of the Dead Man, going match by match through his historic, iconic pay-per-view career. There's only 2 more of those pay-per-view matches left, and so, we wanted to try to extend it as much as we can. What other sort of stuff can we explore here? So what we're doing is we're going to the Hidden Gems section on the WWE Network, and we have compiled, and you and I, Travis, have watched all 10 of The Undertaker's matches, or Mark Calloway's matches, because they're not all Undertaker, like I said, that are in that section on the WWE Network. Most of them never aired on WWE television. A few of them had, but like in places like Shotgun Saturday Night or Friday Night's Main Event. But a lot of them are dark matches. Some of them are from territories like OVW and Smoky Mountain Wrestling. Some rare appearances Undertaker made for those. There's one from the USWA. Again, that was before he became The Undertaker. Some international matches and things like that. So they're things that are not pay-per-view matches. They're things that are not going to have all the build-up and backstory that we normally talk about. And, honestly, some of them are not even up to the level of pay-per-view matches. Some of them we'd only see clips of, but they're all unique in their own sort of way. They all are worthy of talking about, I think, for the hardcore of the hardcore Undertaker fans like we are and like we do this show for. And it's going to be kind of a fun way to celebrate this journey that we've been on for 184 episodes, to look back at all these different eras and I'm just excited to dig into it and talk about stuff that we might have missed in the earlier days of the podcast.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I've been really looking forward to this one since I watched these matches. I know this was your idea, and I'm glad you brought it to the table because I'm very excited about doing this. And yeah, we're just going to go all over the place, and even going to hop on some extra ones that aren't on the network. So glad we're going to touch on those as well. So yeah, the problem is there's no hidden gem section anymore on the network. They took that away, but you can still find these on the network. There's no. It used to be just a hidden gems title, like on the top, you clicked on it and it was boom, they're all there. But they got rid of that. But you can still dig and find them.
There is on certain devices, I think, because if you go on my Amazon Fire TV, if you go to the in-ring section and then to the vault or whatever, I think or maybe something else.
Yeah.
But there is where you can find superstars and velocity and stuff like that.
Yep.
There is still a hidden gems thing, but they're not super well organized.
Right.
They're in different. You can't find just all of the Undertaker's ones.
Right.
They're not chronological. It's kind of a mess on there. So I will say, if you go on our Twitter at TalkingTaker, I did do a thread with links to all of these matches on the WWE Network in the order that we're talking about them here. So if you are interested in seeing some of them as we go along, you can easily check them out there. And I think, Travis, as we go along, you and I, we're not going to rate them 5 stars or anything, but we can kind of give them a thumbs up, thumbs down. Is this worth going out of your way to go check out, or you don't really need to see this one, because I think it's kind of it's probably pretty evenly split. There's a few that anybody out there listening or watching us, you got to go watch these, and there's some you can pass over. But
exactly.
Just right before we get into it, Travis, man, I wanted to think back this whole concept of hidden gems. I think it's fun to talk about. We talk about the history of pro wrestling. In 2021, there's almost no such thing as a hidden gem because literally, WWE doesn't even do house shows in the current climate. Yeah, so there's no house shows, there's no dark matches, there's no fans. But even still, any indie fed, any international fed, you can just go online on Fight TV, YouTube, Facebook Live, Instagram Live. You can see pretty much any match in any company of any wrestler at any time, any place you want in 2021. You could not do that when we were growing up.
No.
Dude, you would hear about matches, you'd read about matches in Pro Wrestling Illustrated when you're sitting in the grocery store waiting on your mom to
get the prescription.
And you'd look through and you'd see, oh, what is this ECW? Oh, what is this Japan? What is this guy doing over there? Oh, I had no idea Ric Flair was facing this guy over in Japan or something like that. And then you'd I know you and I both did some tape trading too back in the day to try to find some of those matches. Yeah,
and then I would even take matches you suggest, and I would rent them or take yours and then compile them onto a compilation VHS of mine with 2 VCRs. So yeah, those days are long gone now. Like you said, everything is out there. I was listening to a comedian the other day, and he was talking about how you can't even try new jokes anymore, because if you try a new joke on stage, boom, it's out there. Someone's filming it and it's on Twitter. Or musicians, you can't try a new song and test it. You have to just release it nowadays. You can't test it in your live concerts like you could back in the obviously 60s, 50s, 70s, 80s, 90s. But even 15 years ago, you could do that. You could test the song out on the road and then, hey, let's put on our next album. Now it's just no, the song is out there. Same thing with these matches nowadays. It's there. They're just there. But so it was really fun to go back through and see these matches. I'd heard of some of these, and we touched on a couple of them, but I hadn't watched them fully, So this is going to be a lot of fun, and it is really fun to think about, being a child, and you had to, Triple H says, chasing the dragon. It was a hunt to find its match, and see what it was and see what it was all about. But now it's just click, there it is.
Yeah,
almost takes some of the fun out of it to me,
Yeah, it does. But then again, on the other side, it is really cool. Like when they first started doing these hidden gems on the WWE Network, that there was a period where they were updating them every week, and it was just oh my gosh, I can't believe this is out there. And they haven't done that in a while, which is a shame because I used to love it.
Yeah.
But like stuff like that last Battle of Atlanta match.
I was about to say the same thing. Yeah, I'd never seen it until the network.
No, I'd heard about it and read about it for 25 years as a wrestling fan, and they finally drop it out there. And of course, in some ways it doesn't live up to the hype after all that time, but in other senses, it's just awesome to finally be able to witness it.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember I used to read in the PWI Wrestling Almanac that I would get that there was a match between, I think it's Bob Backlund and I want to say Dory Funk Jr., but it's like in the 70s, and it's WWF champion versus NWA champion at some house show. And I remember as a kid, I would be like, the WWF champion faced the NWA champion? Like, my brain could not compute that. And that match is on the WWE Network now. And it's really long and boring. It's not that fun to watch. But like as a kid, I always that was the most intriguing thing to me. Like I always wanted to see that match, and it's so cool that it's there, even if it's kind of sucks, but it's a neat artifact, and I love that this stuff is out there, even though some of it, I don't know, is it really that great? No, not really, but it's cool that we have it there.
Exactly. It's
so
fun.
We'll go chronologically, and we're not going to go move by move through these matches like we do on a normal episode of Talking Taker, but we'll hit some of the highlights, some of the stuff that made us laugh, or the stuff that made us go, whoa, that was awesome, or wow, that sucked. And like I said, these matches of The Undertaker on the Hidden Gems go all the way back to 1990 to October 20th, 1990 is our first one. And this is, the chapter title is The Undertaker Appears as Mean Mark Callis. And it's a match between...
Does that mean he's mean? Is that like an ironic, like, mean Mark Callis? Like, he's not really mean, he's like... kind of a nice guy. This is that's big mean Mark Callis.
I wouldn't say that to his face, man. No. He is ripped here in this match, dude. This is him against Jerry the King Lawler from USWA television here. So just think about the timeline. October 20th, 1990. He's already been in WCW. He's already had that quick little run there where he faced Lex Luger for the U.S. title. And he's a month and 2 days away from becoming The Undertaker and having his life and the WWF change forever. So, I mean, it's just wild. No one had any idea it was about to come just a month later after this.
He's sitting here thinking he's Eggman at this point, probably.
Probably.
You know what I'm saying? Seriously, he's watching.
Yeah, I wonder if that's happened yet. I wonder if he's signed and has done all that yet.
If not, it's very soon. He's going to be like, crap, I'm Eggman.
Well, well, what would you call the king here?
If you've never seen Jerry King Lawler, you cannot miss him tonight in this match, dude. I mean, it's solid neon green. It is out of control.
It's the fabric from a green screen. He just cut up and made an entire outfit up with no crowns, no other design. It is just straight neon green.
Yeah, it's not like a Mr. Perfect where it's like black with a neon touch. No, this is just straight neon green. And
you could easily make some memes with his outfit if you wanted to.
Yeah. But yeah, this is from USWA. I believe it is a round robin tournament for the NWA title, if I'm not mistaken. It was kind of hard to piece. They didn't really have a graphic or anything about it, but just through the commentary you pick up that's what it is. So, but the commentary, they talk about how Mean Mark is a former Texas champion, and he's actually faced Jerry Lawler before in Texas. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, this is a first round match, if I'm not mistaken. So.
That definitely put him over a lot here, and the King puts him over big time here. It's not a surprise to say there's not a ton of work in this match. If you know Jerry the King Lawler, there's not a ton of wrestling moves, but it's still entertaining, and he still tells a story. Simple babyface heel storytelling here, and King makes Mean Mark look like a monster, look like a star here in
does.
just a few minutes. Go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, it's funny too to see this iteration of Taker because he's jaw jacking, he's talking crap, he's pointing at the audience and talking to them. He's got Downtown Bruno, who we'll eventually know as Harvey Whippleman, but that's his manager, you know. But it's just so funny to see him have like charisma in the ring, like as a big heel, you know, like and a month and 2 days later, all that's gonna erase. He still has charisma, but it's a different, subdued charisma. You know, it's so funny to watch and just see that. It's just 5 weeks ahead of what's going to happen to him.
I think that was my main takeaway from this, man. Just how much presence and charisma Mark Callis has here, and just a ton of potential. Of course, you never would imagine what he's about to become, but you can tell he's going to be a star in one way, shape, or another here.
Not according to Ole Anderson. No one's ever going to pay a dime to see him wrestle. So.
Yeah. Shows what he knows here.
Yeah, idiot.
Like you said, Downtown Bruno, Harvey Whippleman is Mean Mark's manager here. And I was thinking maybe their little early rivalry that they have in the WWF comes from the fact that Mean Mark leaves him hanging here and jumps to the WWF, leaves Harvey Whippleman behind. Who knows?
He does. Well, it's funny because Bruno tells commentary to call him Mr. Mark and Mr. Bruno, and the commentary team's like, that sounds like a couple of hairdressers, which is just a sign of the time.
1990.
It's just funny. But, of course, Bruno helps him cheat and chokes Lawler. And but one thing I wanted to point out, too, is that Mean Mark hits that jumping, diving clothesline that Taker is known for, you know, that, and we mentioned that in that match in Japan with him and Big Scott Hall. He did it during that match too and walked the ropes in that, but he doesn't walk the ropes here. But he does do that signature flying clothesline that he does.
He does. And the ref gets knocked down, and this ref has, I have to mention, his lapels on his shirt are, I mean, I can't even imitate them. Like, they are the widest lapels. I don't understand them. I've never seen a shirt with lapels like that. That's worth watching just for that.
And it's a fashion statement.
I want to point out, speaking of fashion, the King, he takes the strap down in this match, which I think Mean Mark was taking notes.
He was.
Saying, I can see the importance of that. It's business time when the straps go down. He was learning. He was watching here. But the match does get thrown out. It doesn't go anywhere. Mean Mark is disqualified. Jerry Lawler advances in the tournament, and Mean Mark's going to go on to bigger and better things.
Yeah, he'll be okay. He'll bounce back. He might not win the NWA title, but he's going to win the WWF title in a year, so he'll be okay.
Well, what would you say for this one? Is this one worth unearthing as a hidden gem, or keep it buried underground?
I'd say unearth this one, man, just for the sheer fact of that lapel and those green tights, man. But no, it is, like, I would encourage, in all seriousness, go watch this because you just see a stark contrast from who he's going to become in 4 weeks. Like, it's just so funny, like, how much charisma and how much talking he does, and then it's all going to disappear in a month. Like, I don't know. What about you?
I think that's, if you go into it with that perspective, for sure, like, especially if you've never really seen Mean Mark before, if you only know him as the Undertaker, this is a great way to see that and to discover that this different side of him that we don't really get to see it until he kind of becomes Big Evil. Really, we see some shades of that come out.
Yep, I agree.
I will save. I'll talk about these YouTube matches here just at the end. I'll just hit on some of those. Let's just keep going through these WWE Network ones, and the next one would be we're gonna flash forward a year to 1991 to November 30th, 1991, which is an important time period in the Undertaker's career. He's become the Undertaker, and now he's going to be defending the WWF Championship in the year 1991.
Yeah, so this is from the London Garden Arena in London, Ontario, Canada. So, and he's a heel, when he wins the title from Hogan. So, British Bulldog is going to be the babyface here. And it is neat, though. At the beginning, a disclaimer pops up. It's like presented in the most complete form possible due to original production technical difficulties. So, at least they give you that. But this is just 3 days, man, after he won the title. It's just crazy. And he's going to lose it, 3 days later? Because it was just 2 days later?
On Tuesday.
No, yeah, because...
This is a Saturday, I think.
Yeah.
This match.
Because Survivor Series would have been on a Wednesday.
Yep.
Right? Yeah, he holds the title
right.
for 6 days. So this is halfway through his title run, and it's his only title defense of documented that we have, and it's right here against British Bulldog, which I remember you mentioned it back on an early episode, but we didn't see it. So this is cool to talk about it here.
Yeah, this stuff wasn't really available when we first started doing the podcast. And yeah, you mentioned this is the only title defense he has. He actually defended it twice on this day. I looked it up on historyofwwe.com. This match happened twice on this same day. They did a double shot of house shows. So Undertaker defended against British Bulldog in a matinee at the London Ontario Gardens Arena, and then later on that night at the Hamilton, Ontario Cops Coliseum. So Ontario holds a special place. Undertaker got 2 title defenses. And I'm assuming this is the second of those matches because it's like a... that one was a TV taping from what I could see.
Okay.
And obviously this one's recorded.
Arena, so
maybe it's not.
I don't know. Who knows?
Or maybe they had their facts
that
wrong.
day too on the historyofwwe.com.
Yeah.
It was a lot of weird stuff that day. They did a lot of grinding back then.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
And you talk about presence. Again, that's what I noticed more than anything in this match. Like, Undertaker, as he comes out, he's just dragging the belt to the ring like a zombie, like a monster. He could not care less about this thing that he has to have with him. So he's playing that character perfectly. But just think about what's going through his head in this moment. Man, he is the WWF champion just a year into being in the WWF, just a few years into being a professional wrestler. And I'm sure he knew this was only going to last for a few days. I'm sure he knew the whole way this storyline was going to go, but still, it's a huge deal now. It's an even huger deal in 1991 when there'd only been like 20 world champions. There wasn't a new champion every month, like there was in the Attitude Era, and there weren't multiple world titles in the same company, and the Universal title and the whatever world championship, all the different stuff. Like that's a huge deal that he's going to go down in the history books here.
Oh yeah, and he's such early on in his career, man. It's just so crazy. You just don't. A lot of people skip over his, how quick he rose to the top, man, and he's been there since then. It's just nuts, man. Everyone talks about like Angle's first year and Lesnar's first year and Yokozuna's first year. You got to put Taker up there too, man. Like, you have to. I mean, within a year, he was a champion. And again, like you said, before the title bounced around like a prop. It meant something, So, yeah, really cool. Again, we get to see Paul Bearer here, which is awesome.
Yes.
Coming out, carrying the urn. And he holds the title up, in the ring. And the crowd just boos. And it's great because he's just so good at orchestrating that heel heat. Because, again, Taker's not going to do that stuff. He's not going to taunt like that. So, Bearer's there to help do that, It's pretty cool stuff.
He's doing all the Paul Bearer stuff, man. He's pulling faces to the camera and interacting with the crowd. He's so great here. And again, this match does not go very long. It's typical of Undertaker at that time.
Yeah.
There's also not a lot of wrestling and moves in here. But I love what Undertaker does here at the very end. He's going to get the urn, and he's going to hit the British Bulldog with it when the ref is turned away. But when he does it, he drops it. And Undertaker tries to catch it, but it rolls out of the ring. And Undertaker, he steps outside of the ring to pick up the urn and then places it back on the apron before he rolls back in the ring and pins British Bulldog. And again, this was not televised. This was on a house show. But Undertaker was so keyed into this character, so keyed into the importance and the sacredness, the holiness of that urn, that even at a house show, if it falls out of the ring when it's not supposed to, when the guy is out and he's supposed to be pinning him, he makes it a priority to go grab that urn and to put it back on the apron. I just like that blew my mind when I was watching it.
It was awesome. I'm glad you pointed that out, man, because yeah, I remember noticing that, but I didn't write it down. But yeah, it's very good attention to detail. We talked about that just so early on, 180 something episodes ago, just how he was just attention to detail in every little nuance, man. And like these guys nowadays can study that on him. Even a year into this character, man, he's doing it. Like you said, it's a house show, dude, and he's got that commitment right there. He didn't have to do that. He could have let it roll, but it would have, if that guy leaked out some or something, it would have put a question mark in the kayfabe, of that. Well, you know what? Why didn't he care about it? But because it was still real to people back then, So
yeah, that's
I'm
right.
glad you pointed that out. It's really, really cool. And yeah, he, like you say, he nails Taker or nails Bulldog with it, and then crawls over and does the classic pin there, and gets the win over British Bulldog. Which again, you would never see anyone get pinned by that nowadays. It'd be a near fall.
Right. Yes. And that's all there is to it here. Undertaker is gonna do the Shakespeare pose, while Paul Bearer goes and grabs a body bag, which was Taker's signature at that time. And before he can seal up the Bulldog in it, he's going to clothesline Undertaker out of the ring, and he's going to get to celebrate in front of the hometown crowd in Canada while Taker leaves behind Paul Bearer holding up the title in the urn for all to see. But, I think this one's worth watching just for the historical place, like the only title defense of his first title run. I mean, if you're an Undertaker completist, you got to go back and watch this.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I totally agree. It was so fun to see that, because again, I remember you mentioning this match from the history of WWE back in the day, and like we never got to see it till now. So it was really fun to go back and see that. So it's a historic match.
Talk about historic, dude. This next one here from August 19th, 1995. Like I said, we're going to go to a different territory. We're going to go to Smoky Mountain Wrestling in your neck of the woods, brother. As this one's called...
Hour and a half from me.
This one's called Kane Faces the Undertaker as Unabomb in SMW. Tell us about this one, man.
Yeah, so he's already Isaac Yankem in WWE, is he not?
Yeah, because he's debuting at SummerSlam in August of '95, so they're already showing vignettes of him as Isaac Yankem. So this has got to be him, like, leaving the territory, basically. I don't know exactly, but it's got to be close to that.
And when he's introduced, he's called the Demon of Destruction, which is funny because he was going to go on to be, the devil's favorite demon and stuff like that. So I thought that was pretty
Brothers
neat.
of Destruction, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, but he looks like a villain from the Beastmaster, dude. It killed me, dude.
Absurd.
But he's got a young Al Snow with him on the outside. I guess it's his manager.
I think they were tag team partners.
Okay, yeah. But that was neat to see, too. We didn't get to talk about Al Snow too much in Talking Taker, but that was really cool.
We did not.
Yeah. But this
it was cool, except that he's wearing his gear. He's just in trunks and boots. But I hate when guys are like that on the outside, man. Put a t-shirt on. You're just standing in your underwear.
Go to that Tommy Dreamer table, get that merch, and put it on. But yeah, this is one of those you talked about earlier. And it's like it's kind of cuts throughout the match. It kind of just spliced up. You don't get to watch it all in unison, in one flowing thing. So it is what it is, man. But it's pretty cool. And yeah, the lights go out and Knoxville just explodes because again, Taker's been Taker for 4.5 years here, and we see Paul Bearer with an urn and slowly followed by Taker behind him. And I like the commentary. I don't remember who they were, but they said that this is possibly the toughest wrestler in the sport today. Which again, this is '95, so he was already had that, I guess, aura about him.
Yeah, I mean, this was a cool old school wrestling thing that used to happen. Like a local territory would get somebody big in that area, and then you get to bring in a big star, occasionally from the WWF. They would do stuff like send guys to these territories and let them face each other. Or, like, that's what the NWA used to do. You'd have Ric Flair come in and face the big local guy here. Yeah. And it's great because, again, no one had any idea at the time, but these two guys are going to go on to be connected for the next 25 years, really forever. They're going to be tied to each other as brothers. But here they are, Kane with his blonde, curly mullet. He looks fantastic from the neck down. he's still an ugly mofo from the head up.
Yeah.
But it reminded me of Mark Callis. Just like, it's in great shape, and you don't always see that underneath the Kane body,
right,
or bodysuit and everything. But you can tell why WWF wanted to sign this guy.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And one cool thing here that it's kind of different for Taker at this point, but he gets a really big pop and he takes his hat off in the ring and he does like Kung Lao from Mortal Kombat and just chucks it in the ring, which I thought was pretty funny because like that's not a typical thing for him, but I guess he was just like, whatever, dude, we're in Smoky Mountain Wrestling.
Somebody in Knoxville's got a souvenir.
Somebody in Knoxville's got that, yeah. So, but yeah, it's watching them stand nose to nose at the beginning of the match is kind of cool, and he hits old school, and
it's interesting because Unabomb is a couple inches shorter than Undertaker here, whereas
sure.
when they stand face to face in Hell in a Cell, he's had a growth spurt in his late 20s.
In his boots. yeah. His boots grew a little bit 2 years later. So, but yeah, it's neat. You got old school, and Unabomb takes over and he hits a suplex, and commentary says, "Here at the Super Bowl of Wrestling." So, little did we know. But then Al Snow gets involved with the referee, dude, Mark Curtis. Which was awesome. I love referee Mark Curtis in WCW. Again, this is right before he goes, I guess. So he's going to get snatched up by them. But yeah, Mark Curtis, man, it was just so good to see him. Rest his soul. You know, I love Mark Curtis. Him and Charles Robinson, my favorite WCW referees. So.
Yeah, dude. You used to get excited when you'd see him in a match because, he'd entertain you and be a part of it here. But he doesn't see Al Snow interfering, but Paul Bearer does. And Paul Bearer storms like catering's about to close in 5 minutes, and he rips his jacket off. He's ready to go fight Al Snow on the outside. Bear's conducting his opus, like literally, like rest in peace, like directing the crowd. Oh my gosh, he's so good. And then go ahead.
Kane or Unibomb's going to hit this power bomb, and like it's scary, dude. Like I don't know if Taker didn't rotate enough or Kane thought he had him, but like he picks him up, but like power to him because he powers through it and winds up getting Taker up for the rest of the rotation. But it is terrifying at first, man. Like he's about to drop Taker on his head, like what we'll see with Nash and the Giant in a couple years. So yeah, scary.
It is, and Taker finishes it up pretty quickly after that with a chokeslam and tombstone. And we only see about 5 to 6 minutes of this match, but it seemed pretty good from what we saw. It's definitely cool from that historical perspective of seeing Undertaker and Kane for the first time. I don't know if the full match is available anywhere, but I would say if you can find that full match, I would definitely seek it out. It would be cool to see the whole thing here.
Yeah, I agree. It's nothing that's going to blow your wig back like it does in Saudi Arabia with Kane. But it is worth seeing, I think, just to see their first interaction. And if I'm not mistaken, Taker has said that, after doing this, he was like, I want to work with that guy. We got to figure something out. I think, was it in that Brothers of Destruction extra thing? Or maybe something like that. Anyway, one of these Talking Heads videos he's done in the last year of the last part of his career, he's talked about how, after interacting with him in the ring, he really wanted to do something with him on the main stage. So.
Well, another guy he interacted with many, many times, and we're going to talk about a lot of them here. The first time Triple H confronts The Undertaker is the next hidden gem. Now, this is from May 12th, 1996, and we spent a lot of time covering Triple H lately on the show and throughout the years. And I think a lot of these Triple H matches got put on the network during that time where Undertaker was facing Triple H a couple years ago. That's why there's so many of them here. But this is their first televised time in the ring together from the Kuwaiti Cup tournament in Kuwait, of course, here. And this is early Triple H. He'd only been in the company for maybe a year at this time, so he's still blue blood Triple H. Undertaker's still purple glove Undertaker here. So it's still very, very early on. This is May 12th, 96, I think I just said. So this would be right in the middle of Undertaker feuding with Goldust and Mankind, like kind of at the same time. So he's back and forth every other month feuding with those two guys.
And this is, what, 2 months or a month before Hunter is supposed to win the King of the Ring, that he doesn't get to win, and Austin wins. It changes wrestling history, you know?
Right.
So he got punished for the curtain call and everything, you know? So, golly, May 12th. Would that have been right before Scott Hall
I think
debuted on?
Right. Yeah.
I think it was.
It's right there.
Yeah, it was right. It's so crazy. Just put a timestamp on it, you know? Like, NWO's not even around yet. So, anyway. But, dude, you know what I was blown away by? Is how much love Kuwait has for Triple H here, dude. There is a brother in the front row who's like, I love you, Hunter, like, signed. Like, handwritten Kuwaiti guy, like, signed. He says, I love you, Hunter. And, like, a lot of other signs.
And then there's another one. Like, they show another guy.
Several. And I was like
middle-aged dudes.
Yeah, just like, yeah, guys in their late teens, their early 20s, and 30s. Like, I love you, Hunter. I'm like, that blew me away.
And like, way before DX or anything. This is just like,
he wasn't even cool.
Okay. Yeah, not a cool heel at all.
Like a ribbon in his ponytail. Like, it's not cool. So, but this is another one that kind of gets the quality is. It's like a home video. It's it kind of cuts on and off. There's no commentary, so that makes it kind of unique. But
real low quality video.
Yeah, but you know, Taker and Bear come out and he raises the lights and got, like you said, purple gloves and boots, and they're just the crowd though. Even though he's over with these like dudes, they're still healing on him. They're chanting "Rest in peace, rest at Triple H," which is cool. But a lot of stalling. Triple H is a good heel at the beginning. He stalls so much. Which we'll see later on in another match, is with a lot of stalling, rolling out of the ring, powdering, getting heel heat. So,
and Paul Bear is going with it too. He's doing the Opus. Even Paul Bear does like a Hulk Hogan ear cup to the crowd, asking for that "Rest in Peace" chant.
He's like, he's so good. Man.
Having a blast. Man.
I know.
And this finally Taker gets him in the ring. Again, this is a pretty long match. It's pretty decent, you know, pretty basic Undertaker stuff, but it's good.
If you want to watch how to bump and feed,
for
Taker,
you're right.
You watch it because Triple H is so good at you being a ping pong ball there. Again, he's not as big and he's not the game and all, you know, big and swollen like he becomes eventually, but like he's like. You forget the guy we know now. You forget that his early career, and we mentioned this before. Like he's a Ric Flair wannabe, you know. Like, and I mean, in a good way, just like Austin was. So seeing Austin as a heel when he was early on and starting to see flipping and flopping like Flair does, you see the same thing here with Triple H. I mean, it's so fun to watch, man.
Yeah, you see it like you said so much here, and it is interesting to see how much these two guys evolve and like how far they go when they get to their last ever match and how different it is from this.
Oh yeah. Oh well, that's the part where they kind of go back and forth there, and at one point Taker intimidates the ref so bad the referee actually falls off the apron into Paul Bear's arms, which is pretty funny. But Paul Bear,
that's good house show stuff.
He's just holding me. He just dumps the referee on the ground. But then I guess the referee's so angry because at some point Paul Bear puts the urn on the apron, and the referee's just like, "Get that thing off!" Like he is so animated and he's so mad that the urn's there, and then he gets bumped in the corner, and Triple H is going to take it from here.
Yeah, he's going to get some brass knuckles out, and he uses them, and then Undertaker grabs them from him, and of course the referee sees Undertaker with them, so he gets disqualified, which is, you know, old school finish as it gets right there.
Dusty finish.
Yeah, Triple H will get the win, but then the real beauty of this match takes place afterward. Triple H wins the first ever match against The Undertaker, which is interesting because he wins the last one ever as well. He bookends him. Triple H must win, even back in '96. But Paul Bear, he's trying to pull Undertaker away because he lost the match, but Taker's not having it, and he gives Triple H a tombstone and just leaves him for dead in the middle of the ring. And when I say leaves him for dead, I've never seen anything like this, man. Triple H is just limp, dead on the ground. He sells it for a long time, which a lot of people do with the tombstone. But Undertaker finally leaves, and the camera just stays on Triple H, man, like for minutes of him just completely motionless. And the referee even gets in the ring, and this is probably poor safety protocol, but he like takes this limp body and he tries to sit him up and then walks away and he collapses again, which is, I don't think you're supposed to do that when a guy has a broken neck and is unconscious.
Oh, it's funny because the referee, he like looks at the timekeeper. He's like, he's out cold, like he's out cold, and it's just propping him up like his weekend at Bernie's. And Triple H is doing a great job just flopping, and it's so funny. And eventually Earl Hebner comes in, they slide him out of the ring, and
they just roll him out, and he falls to the they don't put him on a stretcher. They're just like, well, whatever, get him out of here.
Yeah. Oh, it's just funny, man. And finally he starts to come to, and he actually just winds up like tackling the referee. He's just milking it. He's having fun. Like he tackles the referee on accident, and all of that was my favorite part of this whole thing.
Yes.
Watching Triple H just sell this and just have fun, and just the whole weekend at Bernie's thing was so much fun to watch.
Dude, that's how you sell a tombstone, man.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I would say fast forward to that. Fast forward to the end of this match and watch Triple H sell this tombstone. You know, the match itself is fine. If you've got 15 minutes and want to watch a Triple H Undertaker match for completest reasons, you can. But definitely watch the end of it.
If you were there in Kuwait, loving on some Triple H, I got to know.
I want to know. I want to meet that guy.
Yeah. Well, it takes us to another Triple H match here, so get ready. Got him again. This is actually one we mentioned. I don't think we
did talked about
it in
a little bit.
Yeah. So this is Triple H versus Undertaker at Battle at Penn Station from February 8th, 97. This is from Shotgun Saturday Night, that historic one. It's iconic, the scenery here. So, yeah, they're literally at Penn Station on the subway in New York, which is crazy to me, man. Like,
not your favorite restaurant, Penn Station.
Not my favorite sub, East Coast subs, but I
wish they had a match there.
If I could watch Taker and eat an East Coast sub from Penn Station, whew, son, that'd be good. So, but it's a cool scene, man. It's a really cool.
Oh my gosh!
Scene. And you got Sonny on commentary. Yeah,
they only did this for a few weeks. At these different locations, but to me it's so burned into my brain because it was the coolest thing when I was 11 years old. This Shotgun Saturday Night.
Yeah, you had just turned 11.
Awesome.
3 days before.
Right about this, man. But I didn't. Fresh. We didn't have Shotgun on our local cable or whatever, so I just had to see clips of it on WF Mania or Action Zone or Livewire or whatever it was back in the day. But this is great, man. The presentation, this one's all about the presentation here because it's late night in New York City. Triple H drives up in a limo, and he gets out of the limo and gets stopped by Todd Pettengill on the way to the ring. Then he gets stopped by Entertainment Tonight, apparently, who interview him on the way to the ring as he walks down the stairs in through the crowd. It's just... Oh, come on. There's a ring in the middle of Penn Station. It's awesome.
I know. It's cool to see, man. Another thing that's cool to see was like the name crawl on the bottom. It says like, it was almost like the Matt Fax from Matt Hardy eventually, but like it says things his pits don't stink. So that's so good, man. So good.
So stupid. Yeah.
It's so dumb. But Taker comes out and he actually takes up the whole screen as he like poses on top of the stairs, and it was very like. This match is so iconic to me, but it's only like 3 minutes, man. Like it's crazy, if that, but like it's just there's so much iconic shots of it, and just the history of it. It's so funny to how it's over like that.
And he's so cool.
He makes a go ahead.
Yeah, he comes down the stairs at Penn Station, and then he just busts through the crowd. Yeah. You've never seen Undertaker like this. He's like pushing people out of the way, out of the crowd as he hops over the guardrail into the ring, which is. Oh my God, that's so cool.
Yeah.
so cool for wrestlers. That'd be cool in 2021 to see
yeah.
somebody do that, man. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
Forget your poses and camera cuts and angles. Get there like you're trying to beat this guy up. You know? So, yeah, it's awesome, man. And I love that. And then we go to commercial, come back, and they've been battling, and you got a ref bump. Triple H is Taker with the title. Go another commercial. So it was back for like a minute maybe.
Yeah.
Triple H is in control, uses the title again. Taker stops him, and Taker's going to use the title on Triple H and get himself disqualified again. So
that's it.
2 DQs. Triple H. Yeah.
I didn't think about that till just now. Yeah, same finish.
Turn that DQ into a DX.
Dude, how tiny is this ring? Dude,
it's
this
like
is 12 by 12 or something. Oh yeah,
so
real
WWF
small.
ring is 20 by 20, and I'm pretty sure WCW was 16 by 16, if I'm not mistaken. This is probably 14 or something.
Yeah.
It's small, dude.
You
14
take
or 12.
one step on an Irish whip to get to the next rope,
Yeah.
man. It's funny.
Yeah.
You remember?
It's so small.
I think that one of the rings that we trained in was basically this small. You remember when Josh gave you a suplex and you basically landed, like your feet landed out of the ropes?
Hit the ropes, basically. It was crazy.
That's what this ring was like.
It was like a bedroom, like my bedroom growing up, like 8 by 8. It was just like tiny.
Well, of course, this match most
cool
famous for what happens afterward. Triple H takes a huge tombstone from the Undertaker, and then the crowd starts chanting. I've never heard this in an Undertaker match. They just start chanting, tombstone, tombstone, tombstone. They want it. And Undertaker's going to try to go for it. Triple H rolls out of the ring, and he starts walking up the stairs. And Undertaker catches up with him and gives him that iconic moment as he tombstones him at the top of an escalator in Penn Station. And Triple H, again, masterful heel sell job here as he just collapses and rides the escalator down. He's not afraid to look like a goof selling for the Undertaker, because you should.
Exactly. No, I love it. Go watch this match just for the sheer just a moment like that. I mean, Taker making a beeline, and then that moment at the end with the crowd chanting tombstone and him giving it to him. And Triple H, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, man, I'd have been terrified. My long hair would have gotten caught in that. You know, like if I had long hair, like I would have been terrified. It would have gotten caught in the escalator. So, kudos to him for taking that.
Absolutely, man. Really, really awesome moment here. And we'll keep our Triple H chunk going here. 3 in a row with Triple H as we go to 1990, or later on in 1997. This one, I think we did actually talk about more in depth on the show, too. This is from Friday night's main event, September 5th, 1997. It's called Hunter Hearst Helmsley Scraps with The Undertaker. And basically, this is when Raw got postponed for the dog show or US Open or something. So they have a Friday night Raw. And this is really right at the beginning of DX. This is right heading into that Ground Zero pay-per-view with that awesome Undertaker, Shawn Michaels brawl. So it's right in that time period here where they're going to face each other.
Yeah, we did cover this. You know, I actually just kind of stole my notes from that too. But King Hunter Hearst Helmsley. So now he is the king of the ring. So he comes out with China. We see the chair shot that HBK laid Taker out with the other week, and during the match, Rick Rude comes down to ringside, and Shawn winds up interfering to give Taker the DQ win. So 3 DQs in a row here, but Taker wins this one. But dude, we've got to talk about Shawn Michaels' shirt. Did you see this thing? I mean, it was like fishnet. Like, it was out of control, man. Like this was Jeff Hardy before Jeff Hardy was Jeff Hardy. It was crazy.
He was on another level at this point in time.
Yeah, just a sexy boy for sure, man. So I mean, crazy.
So that's something to see. Something to see for me, dude, is we get one of my favorite things in Talking Taker history. Gerald Briscoe runs out after the match when all these guys are brawling, and we get Gerald Briscoe taking a choke slam. Him and Patterson took some of the best choke slams you will ever see. Yeah, this was another one. I was just excited to see that again.
But again, this was cool because we talked on about this when we covered Ground Zero and all this stuff back in the day. But you see this is they're not DX officially yet, but you still got Sean, Hunter, China, and then Rick Rude. They're always like, what's his deal? Like, what is he, the benefactor? But so they're not called Degenerates yet. I don't believe. I think that comes next month. But this is not Generation X just quite yet. But that we're gonna get there very shortly.
Yeah, and I'd say this one is probably the most skippable out of any of the hidden gems. It's like it's not much to it. There's other better Triple H Undertaker matches in the hidden gem section. It's really not that hidden. I mean, it was on.
Yeah, we watched
it was on an episode of Raw, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is don't need to see this one all that much, but that
you want to see Sean's shirt.
You might want to see that. But I'd say this next one that we got to cover, it might be the best one of the lot.
Could be, man. This one is I'll save it for a minute. Yeah, go ahead.
This is The Undertaker and Stone Cold versus DX at MSG. And check out the date on this one. November 15th, 1997. And in case you don't know, that is 6 days after the Montreal Screwjob. So that was on Sunday. This is on Saturday at the Madison Square Garden house show afterward. Like, can you imagine being there? Like, Undertaker and Stone Cold versus DX, getting to see that match in 97 is amazing. But just happening to be 6 days, the most volatile moment in WWF history, you're at this house show with the guy, Shawn Michaels, who was involved in that. Like, whoa, this is a wild match.
And you're in New York. You're in the hallowed grounds of Madison Square Garden, who all these guys know. They're the smart marks. Before there was, the internet wrestling community, they were that, just from the tapes and the magazines, the after mags and stuff. So yeah, just when I saw the date, the timestamp or the date stamp, I was like, wait a minute, that's right. And I had to go look. Yeah, 6 days, man, after Montreal. So it's just crazy, man. But unfortunately, the camera footage here is probably the worst we're gonna get, and the whole time. But again,
it's like fan cam, like handheld camcorder stuff.
Yeah, it is. But it's DX. They come out first, and they do have the DX music at this point, So they are DX officially, before we get to Survivor Series. So then Austin comes out, and then Taker, which again, Austin is not. He's he won the Royal Rumble in this year, and then he went on to have that barn burner match with Brett, and then. But he's not the Steve
broke
Austin
his neck.
Broke his neck. He's not the Rattlesnake. It's not his company yet. That'll come in 98.
He's coming into it here.
Yeah.
And that was just watching this, man. All these guys are so freaking young. Like, I know they've been through some stuff, and I guess Stone Cold's, of course, coming off a neck injury, but they're all still like in such great shape. All four of these guys. It's just fun to see them in their primes.
Oh, yeah. And again, Triple H bumping and feeding for Austin this time. Just like, he's so good, man. And it's cool to see here Austin and Shawn, because in 4 months, they'll be main event WrestleMania. So that was neat to see. And, a month and a half from this, or 2 months from this, Shawn and Taker, and Shawn's going to break his back or whatever. So a lot of history here, intertwined. And, dude, the crowd is into every single thing that happens inside and outside of this ring.
You got everything. 4 of the best of all time
ever
doing a house show match. Like, they're not getting a storyline across, so they're just able to do like the most basic stuff with heels being heels, babyfaces being babyfaces, hot tags, getting the shine at the beginning, doing funny spots with Triple H and Shawn, running into each other and getting Austin, trying to get the hot tag from Taker. It's just, oh man, I don't know if I'd call it 5 stars, but gosh, it's just so fun because of the era and because of the guys in it. Man, it's so fun to watch.
It was a lot of fun to watch, man. And then they're even having fun. Like there's a funny spot where
that's what
Austin's
I
trying
mean.
to hot tap. You say that, and Shawn and Triple H are both holding him back. Like it's so comedic. And then Taker actually he hits that choke slam. He used to do this a lot from the apron to the middle of the ring. He always did it on Triple H, and he does it here, which is pretty cool. And and then he hits a tombstone on Shawn. He gets the clean pin. You know, Shawn's the world champion, right?
He is, yeah.
Yeah, so Taker just pinned the world champion
Send
in
the
the
fans
middle of
home
the
happy.
ring. Yeah, and so I just love. I really like this match a lot, and I was like, I would have loved to have seen this as a pay-per-view main event because how fun this was. Put it on pay-per-view. Put it in MSG still, man. Like it just, dude. The crowd makes this match. They're the fifth member of this match, dude. They really are. They make it so much more fun. It already is.
I thought Road Dogg was the fifth member of this match because he runs in.
Yeah.
And you may think that doesn't sound strange because, Road Dogg's in DX. Road Dogg was not in DX yet. There was
not till April.
Barely the New Age Outlaws at this point. So this was super random. He just comes in out of nowhere and eats a tombstone after the match. Really weird for the time. And then Chyna is going to come in and she's going to get involved. And long before he ever did it on television, Stone Cold's going to give Chyna a stunner after she flips him off behind his back at the end of this match, which, the crowd ate that up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he stuns her, and then he flicks her off, and he actually does a crotch chop, too, which is kind of funny to see. And just, again, they're having fun, man, on a house show. It's so fun. But, yeah, I really would have loved to. This could have been the match at Royal Rumble if it needed to be. Well, no, Austin had to win. Anyway, they could have put this in at D-Generation X.
Or No Way Out.
That would have been a blast.
Yeah.
Whatever was him. Yeah. Well, Shawn didn't wrestle between Royal Rumble and. Yeah. But anyway, it would have been cool to have seen this on the big stage. You know what I'm saying? This is one of my favorite ones we're going to talk about tonight.
Very, very fun stuff. And the fun continues here with three of these guys. And then we're going to insert Kane in there as the Brothers of Destruction take on Stone Cold and Triple H. Which is misleading because this isn't actually a match, but it's just a moment that happens after Raw goes off the air on April 16th, 2001. Of course, we're heading into a tag team match between these two teams at Backlash 2001 in just a couple weeks. And this episode of Raw, what happens, we come in to this hidden gem right after Raw has gone off the air. And this episode of Raw had Taker and Kane saving the Hardy Boys after Triple H beat Jeff Hardy to reclaim the Intercontinental title. Jeff Hardy had beaten him on SmackDown before this. And they were about to give the Hardy Boys and Lita another beating, and Brothers of Destruction saved them, and that sets up their pay-per-view match in a couple weeks. So Austin and Triple H are backing up the ramp. Limp Bizkit is playing. And Stone Cold, man, he is not dressed to compete. He's barely dressed to leave the house, as he basically has Deborah's Daisy Dukes on. Man, these are no grown man, much like no child should wear pants this short. Dude, what is this? What was he thinking? The manliest man of all time is wearing.
Try and get that heel heat, man.
Chubbies, like denim chubbies. Oh, they're awful.
Yeah, they're like denim cheerleading pants.
No shirt.
Softies.
Knee braces. Little tiny denim shorts. Up his butt. Like they shrank in the wash, man.
I bet Xbox pranked him. Shrank him for him. Yeah, so like you said, the brothers are staring him down from the ring, rolling his plan, which was nice to hear. They raise their fist in the air, and the crowd cheers, and Triple H and Austin are kind of having a powwow, and the brothers are kind of pacing around the ring. You can see they're like, we got to give something to the fans, and the heels head back down, and Earl Hebner then gets in the ring and like backs up the Brothers of Destruction, and he's like, tells the heels head back up the ramp, and Brothers go after them and they start fighting on the ramp. They fight back into the ring, and Taker actually winds up hitting a chokeslam on Austin, and Kane hits one on Triple H, which is pretty cool to see. You gotta send the fans home happy here.
Oh yeah, that's all this is here. They used to do this so much during this era. Give them a little something extra, especially if you, especially this time with Stone Cold. He loved doing stuff like this, and they put out a whole DVD Blu-ray set of these after the show moments a couple years ago.
You got it for me.
Yeah, it's very, very fun to watch. Eventually, they gave the two-man power trip, a couple choke slams. Austin's laid out, so Austin, what he used to do was go to the top rope, ask the timekeeper for a couple Steve Weisers out of the cooler. Well, he's out cold. So Undertaker, he gives the signal, and he's going to take some Stone Cold's beers. And I think he asks Austin if he can do it. He goes over to him and says something to him, or tells him he's going to go do it. I don't know exactly what happened, but Mark Eaton tosses Undertaker a couple beers, and him and Kane share a toast. Austin dips out, but Triple H is going to get up, and he gets in Undertaker's face. And what happens next is maybe my favorite thing we saw in any of these hidden gems.
So Taker is talking smack to him and chugs a beer, and Triple H turns around and as Kane goozles him, and Kane's going to lift Triple H up for a choke slam, and then take a swig of his beer, and then choke slam him down to the mat. And then he puts the beer at Triple H's head as his music plays.
Is anything cooler than that, man?
He just takes him up and like, woo.
One-handed choke slam as he drinks the beer. That should have been Kane's new gimmick, new finish. Oh, man.
Oh, that was hilarious, man. I thought it was so funny. Again, Triple H is perfect here.
He's
perfect here.
He's so good. I'm appreciing Triple H throughout these hidden gems more than anything, maybe.
The hidden gems is Triple H.
This is only like 5 minutes of video, and I was gonna say it's not worth it until that happened. And then I was like, oh yeah, you definitely should go watch this because it's freaking great.
And then Triple H actually gets up and swigs the beer, and then he and Austin leave, and the brothers pose, and then they do the fist raise again. But it's just funny because you don't see Triple H is not a drinker. It's like one of his things. Like he doesn't drink or smoke or anything. So it was kind of funny to watch him do that. If you know that. But they're just having fun, man. It's fun to watch.
Probably would have been fun to be in person for this next one. June 30th, 2001. It's titled Kane Emerges as the Undertaker's Partner in OVW. And it's really interesting about who their opponents are, more so than the Undertaker being Kane's partner.
Yeah, so we open up here and we got Jim Cornette telling us that Taker versus the Leviathan was supposed to be the main event for The Last Dance, which is, we talked about it on here, I believe, that The Last Dance was not Michael Jordan's documentary at the time. It was like... it was the OVW's like WrestleMania, I guess you could say. So at the Louisville Garden. So it's supposed to be that match, Taker versus Leviathan, who would go on to become Batista. And it's supposed to be that with Mick Foley as a special referee. But WWE pulled Mick Foley, so Kenny Bolin says that he's pulled some strings and he got us DDP to be the special guest rep. And this is a big deal because DDP is the stalker here. He's stalking Sarah. And they're going to this is right after King of the Ring, before the Invasion pay-per-view. So
right in the heat of all of that. Yep.
Yeah.
Jim Cornette comes out, and it's always funny when Jim Cornette's the baby face. And he gets in Kenny Bolin's face, and I mean the crowd loves it. Jim Cornette can do it, man. He's great. And he says there's no way DDP is going to referee this match. Instead, DDP is going to be Leviathan's partner, but it's not going to be 2-on-1. It's going to be DDP and Leviathan versus Undertaker and Kane. And the crowd at this tiny little OVW show goes nuts. They were not expecting that, and they're getting treated to Undertaker, Kane, and DDP, and Leviathan, which is Batista, which in hindsight is awesome. This is a year before it becomes Batista.
Yeah.
6 years before him and Taker throw down. Really, really cool from a historical standpoint.
Oh yeah, it is. It's so fun to see him interacting with these guys. He's going to go on to have, like Kane earlier, Triple H, and this is just a lot of fun. So,
Yeah.
Then we kind of just cut to like the end of the match here, and we got Cornette on commentary, and it's Taker and DDP wind up tagging in, and Taker just goes nuts on him, and he winds up. They wind up hitting a double choke slam on him, and that actually leads to a pin. But then the match is going to end in a disqualification here because Damien and Payne, I believe are their names, they were in the little Sin.
The Disciples of Sin, I believe they are.
So Sin, who is legitimately Cornette's wife, I believe, or will become his wife. I don't know if she is at this point.
Is that why they call her the Devil's Concubine on this?
Yes, I think so.
That's where that came from.
I think that's why Cornette can say that. So, yeah, that's going to be his wife. I know he's married to her now still. Stacy, I believe is her name. But, she's got Leviathan and then Payne and Damien, but they sign in and cause a DQ, and they eat double power bombs here, and then Sin comes in and Kane goozles her and chokeslams her. So we've seen a stunner on China and a chokeslam on Jim Cornette's wife.
Yes, we do.
Here, so.
Taker's going to get on the mic and put over the Louisville Garden Arena here and puts the fans over. He says this all started for him back in 1988, and it's an honor for him to be back here, and poses with his brother. And, again, I would say this one's kind of skippable. Like, if you could find this whole match online somewhere, that'd probably be really cool to see. But the clip on the network is literally the last 2 minutes of the match. So, we don't even really see Undertaker and Leviathan getting to throw down, which would have been the cool part to see here. So, unfortunately, this is not as much of a hidden gem as I wanted it to be.
Right. Yeah, I agree. It's neat just to see him with Leviathan, like you said. So,
right.
But anyway, that's going to lead us to the last hidden gem on the network here. So
it is, and
another big opponent of his.
Yeah, it's another big one, man. It's called Brock Lesnar Defends WWE Title against Undertaker from October 9, 2003. And how about this for a location? Turku, Finland, in the Turkuhalli LSA Arena. I have no idea if I pronounced that right, but who knows, man?
If you were there, tell us.
Please. Ludwig Borga, if you were there. This is...
Only place in Finland I know is Helsinki, so I don't know if it's right or not. So.
This is 10 days before Brock and Taker would have their biker chain match at No Mercy 03. So they've already had the Hell in a Cell match. They've already had some other big matches.
So this match is off the chain then, right?
It's right off the chain before they get on the chain. Yes, that's correct. And big deal. Like, who knows how many shows they've had in Finland? Probably not a lot. But they give them a great show here tonight. And Taker is ready to go, man. He comes out, and I was just blown away. He's already got the straps down. He's in Biker Taker mode right here. He's about to go away the next month to go become the Dead Man again. But he is jacked.
Oh, yeah, he is, man. He's ready to go. And, again, we're going to get some... it's another disclaimer about presented in the most complete form because of production difficulties. But I'm just thankful we got to see any of this, man, because it's fun and lots of "you tapped out" chants for Brock because they're just that would have been recent. That would have been earlier in the year when he tapped. But they're just still
a few months
hanging on to that, they're still hanging on to that, which is funny. Yeah, but a lot of heat for him, man, which is cool. But Brock? It's funny to see Brock play almost what Triple H was playing earlier, where he powders out of the ring a lot and just stalls and gets that heel heat. Because again, you don't see that since he came back in 2012. You don't see that Brock Lesnar anymore, and that's fine. He's a different kind of beast, no pun intended. But like, it is neat to see it here when he was so young in his career. I mean, he's going to be gone in 6 months, so.
Yeah, and this is very different than their pay-per-view matches because they do stay in the ring a lot of the time. There's no Hell in a Cell. There's no no biker chain. It's not no DQ. It's a lot of chain wrestling and a lot of submission moves and headlocks and stuff. But I liked it because it was so different to see these guys work this kind of match, and they're two of the best, and they can pull it off here. They go for a long time. They give these fans their money's worth because they don't get to see them very often. So I appreciated that.
Yeah, and it's cool. And I wrote my notes. It's definitely a house show match. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I just mean that like it doesn't have those extra gimmicks on it, But it's like you said, a lot of chain wrestling, a lot of stuff you don't normally see. Taker does a maestro cradle, which he did every now and then, but it was neat to see him do that, And then Brock gets this weird looking like ankle lock single leg crab move on him. Like it's not the stretch muffler thing he used to do. It's something else. But like I really liked it. I was like, man, I don't remember him using that much back then in that time. Maybe he did with Angle, but I just don't recall it. It's not fresh in my mind, but it was cool to see that. And he turns into like a rear naked choke and like with the leg locked back, it's a rear naked. It's just I was like, why didn't he do that more on TV? That could have been a finisher, dude. It was awesome.
It looked good. Taker is going to kick out of an F5, which is a big deal.
On a house
show. Brock's going to grab a chair out of frustration, but Undertaker boots it into his face. He goes for a last ride, but Brock shoves Undertaker into the ref. And then another guy took a great choke slam. Brock Lesnar, man, he goes up huge for Undertaker here. Of course, the ref is slow to make the count and kicks out, and we hear Taker let out a very audible curse word out of frustration, which was funny.
Yeah, it's kind of funny to watch, but again, you got another ref bump after that, and then he hits the last ride on Brock, but there's no ref to count the cover, but Taker actually winds up counting the pin as the crowd counts along with him, 1, 2, 3, and then Taker gets up and checks on the ref, and Brock's going to grab the chair and hit him with it multiple times, and Brock actually covers as the ref comes to, and that gets the pinfall right there, So nothing flashy, not a F5 through a table or anything like that, just a couple chair shots and gets it. But it was a lot of fun, man.
I really liked it. Really solid match.
Dug it. But my favorite part coming up now after the match.
I thought Road Dogg coming in to that DX house show match was random, but all of a sudden Rhino comes in to attack the Undertaker.
Yes,
in October 2003. Why? Was he the last guy left? Backstage?
He must have been. Yeah. So, he goes after Taker, and then Eddie Guerrero slides in and starts beating up Rhino. It was just like, dude, I did not see either one of those guys coming. Like, I had no idea. And they actually double team him, and then Taker tosses Rhino over the top rope, and Taker and Eddie are going to hug in the middle of the ring, which is, again, we talked about how we didn't get to see a singles match between them two, but there was definitely, how much could have been there, but it was cool to see them here, just embracing. And again, I just go watch this match. It's a unique Brock and Taker match because it's different. It doesn't have all the bells and whistles. And again, Brock is one of his best opponents, most formidable opponents. And you got Rhino and Eddie Guerrero. So.
And apparently, unfortunately, the video cuts off, but apparently on this night is when Undertaker called out the rest of the roster and they sang Happy Birthday to Eddie Guerrero in the ring on this night, which is why Eddie Guerrero comes out there and saves him. I think you can find some of that on YouTube, if I recall. At one point you could. But really cool moment. And again, we talked back in the day, Taker and Eddie, they were only in the ring on pay-per-view in a Fatal 4-Way one time in late 2004. They never got to share a one-on-one match, although they had a couple on SmackDown that were really fun. And man, that's one of the great what-ifs. We could have seen those two guys in a one-on-one match. Would have been so much fun. But you could tell the love and respect Taker had for Eddie, even just in this moment. So.
Oh yeah, cool to see, man.
Yeah, I'd say if you got 20 minutes sometime, like on a weekend, or just kicking around one night, you're looking for something random to watch on the WWE Network you've never seen before, watch this, dude, because these guys have never had a bad match with each other. And here's one you haven't seen before that's very different than their other ones. It's not as good as the pay-per-view ones. I'm not
Right.
going to put it on that level, but it's like a great SmackDown main event during that time that you've never seen before. So it'll be a nice hidden gem, a treat. That's what these are for.
Yeah, I'd say between this one, this is probably my second favorite like match other than the DX match earlier. You know, I'd say those two are my top two out of this whole thing. So.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with that. I think, like I said, my favorite moment was Kane doing that one-handed chokeslam beer chug combo, which was great. And then the shotgun Saturday night, I think. But I think most people have seen that at this point in time. Pretty famous. But definitely that DX house show match and this one are probably the two standouts of this bunch. But I wanted to mention, before we wrap it up, there's a few very famous Undertaker matches that are not in the Hidden Gems collection, but they are pretty easy to find on YouTube that people talk about, people mention all the time. Rare Undertaker WWF / non-WWF appearances that I wanted to at least point you in this direction if you've never seen them before. One is Undertaker versus Tito Santana from October 5th, 1991 in Barcelona, Spain. And this is cool because Undertaker is La Entrenador in Spain. Ooh. And the whole broadcast is in Spain. I think this was on TV in Spain. You got the Spanish announce crew calling this. And this is cool because Tito Santana is like Hulk Hogan. Right. In Spain on this night, at least. That's how this match is booked. It's like a Hulk Hogan versus Undertaker match, except you've got Tito Santana playing Hulk Hogan. And it's cool because Tito gets a clean pin on the Undertaker, which you might not think back looking at this time period or in Undertaker's career at all, that Tito Santana, El Matador, has a clean win on the Undertaker. Sort of clean. He does use the urn at one point, but he hits 3 pile drivers on Undertaker because Taker keeps getting up, and then hits him with the urn that Paul Bearer brings into the ring, and is basically one of the only people in this era to get a win over the Undertaker. Yeah. And
I remember us I remember you mentioning that early on in his career, and I was just like, no way, dude. Like, Tito got it, but because I remember like Ultimate Warrior got 1 or 2 right on some of those house shows.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, but yeah, it was a big deal, man. Because even though he was young in his career, he was so protected, and it was just what a cool thing to go watch, man.
It's like you read about Jacques Rougeau, the Mountie, getting like facing Hulk Hogan in Montreal on house shows and stuff, just because he was so over in that territory. Right. And they had Tito in Spain, and he was like a god there. The fans go nuts when he pins Undertaker. So that's a pretty unique thing to see if you've never seen that. Oh yeah. There's one from Japan. I'm actually not sure if it's New Japan or All Japan or something different. But it's The Undertaker versus Hakushi. I believe in Japan he was Jinsei Shinsaki or something like that. But he was Hakushi in the WWF. And this is from October of 1997. So I don't know what the story is with Undertaker working over there. But this is... Dude, if you're a fan of NXT... sorry, Thomas Rodriguez. But if you're a fan of NXT, like I know you are, Travis, this is a spectacle like an NXT TakeOver match, because apparently from what I could gather, the storyline was Hakushi got buried alive by the Great Muta in his last match. And so at the beginning of it, the lights go out in this arena and a bunch of druids in really ragged robes carry a casket out to the ring into the dark, and they dump Hakushi out of the casket. And meanwhile, Undertaker comes out. He's managed by Bruce Pritchard, who was his original manager, his brother Love in the WWF, except he's just Bruce Pritchard on this night. And he never gets involved or interferes in any way. He just walks him to the ring. It's a really weird moment. But Hakushi starts the match off, and he's dead, like Triple H was after that tombstone. Hakushi is just face down on the mat. His white pants are all dirty from being buried, and he's playing off his character, and he's lifeless. Undertaker picks him up, chokeslams him, and he just sells, and he picks him up and chokeslams him, but he keeps kicking out. And so basically Undertaker like revives him, and he starts getting some life back into him, starts hitting some hope spots. They did have a great moment where Hakushi comes off the top rope with a diving headbutt, and Undertaker sits up just at the last minute and just times it just right. And then Undertaker gives him a jumping tombstone and pins him. And the Druids come back out with this casket with the lighted cross on the top of it and put Hakushi back into it and carry him to the back. And I didn't fully understand everything that was going on because it's in Japanese, but it's a heck of a spectacle, dude. And I would certainly recommend it to our Taker fans if you've never seen this one. It is very different and very unique to see Undertaker in this environment.
Yeah, I remember Pritchard talking about this on his podcast, when they covered him in '97. I don't remember the context or why this happened either, man. That's funny. But yeah, why is this managed by Bruce Pritchard? But yeah, this is one I did not get to check out because it wasn't a hidden gem thing. But you sent it to me, and I haven't had a chance yet. But by the time this airs, I will have watched it because it sounds really like it's just a spectacle, just sports entertainment.
Yeah.
Man.
Very cool to see that, especially in 1997, how much production is into that. You definitely see some NXT influence and the entrance and the whole thing, or WrestleMania even, Bray Wyatt sort of stuff. But anyway, last one I want to point you guys in the direction to. It was mentioned on the recent Yokozuna Icons special, but this is a WXW independent show that was held November 29, 2001 in Allentown, Pennsylvania, as a Yokozuna memorial tribute show about a year after he passed. And the WWE actually sent a bunch of guys to go to the show, or allowed them to. I think these guys said, we're going to go do it because we love Yokozuna. And 4 of these guys were Undertaker, Kane, and the APA, Bradshaw and Farouk, are going to have a tag team match on this little independent show as a tribute to Yokozuna. And
it's awesome.
Again, you can find it on YouTube. It's real crappy quality, but they mention on the Yokozuna documentary special, I think Rikishi says it, Yoko loved to drink Jack Daniels. And he loved to drink backstage, and so that's what they did at this independent show. I think Godfather might have said it. One of them said it.
Yeah.
As soon as we got there, man, we just had a bottle of Jack out for Yoko, and that's what we did all day in his memory. And I would say you can see that when Bradshaw and Farouk come out to the ring, brother. Bradshaw is 3 sheets to the wind. He's wearing a Yokozuna t-shirt when he comes out, a white t-shirt with Yokozuna's picture on it, and he gets on the mic, and I can't even say the things that he said in this promo, or we would get canceled here. He actually brings up, he turns heel, basically, and says, Undertaker was an SOB. He made a name off of them in the past, and he calls out Undertaker's big red R-word brother, and he is just should not be saying that in 2001. Farouk actually grabs the mic from him and tries to get him on focus. Bradshaw takes the mic back again, says it again, tells Undertaker and Kane to bring their gassed up butts out here. Kane and Taker do come out. Bradshaw keeps taunting them. He says him and Farouk are going to pull down their pants so that Taker and Kane can have a choice between a black butt and a white butt to kiss when this is all over with. And then says, I want to imitate one of your old friends, Undertaker. And he rips his shirt off like Hulk Hogan and does Hulk Hogan ear cup and flexing in front of Undertaker. Oh my goodness, man. This is a wild night from Bradshaw. If you've never seen this, please go watch Drunk Bradshaw cut a promo on Undertaker and Kane. And these guys, they're taking it easy in this match, but the crowd is still loving every minute of it. And Undertaker chokeslams Farouk eventually and wins. And who cares about the match? But that Bradshaw promo is certainly a hidden gem. I would definitely recommend our listeners go check out the pre-match of this one.
That's amazing. Yeah, Bradshaw probably not proud of that moment in this day and age, but
not
at that
PG.
point,
Nope.
didn't care. Yeah,
not PG-13. I wouldn't even say.
That's funny, man. That's funny. Old Bradshaw, he's what he is. Their APA documentary is pretty fun or
I
APA
hadn't had a
Untold
chance
on
to watch
network.
that.
Yeah, check it out. It's got
Okay.
I think Taker's on it as well, but it's
Probably.
really neat. Anyway,
Yeah.
they're intertwined with him, obviously in the ministry and stuff. So, anyway,
They certainly are, man. Well, this was a great trip down memory lane, man. Looking
Yeah,
back
it's
at the
fun.
past of Undertaker, I really enjoyed this.
yeah, me too. This was a blast. I've been looking forward to this episode because it was just it's a change of pace, and as we're nearing the end of his career, we've only got, like you said, 2 matches left and 3 episodes left after this.
Yeah.
So, this was a fun trip, just kind of taking us through every era. Well, almost. Up until he comes back as the dead man, takes us
Right.
through everything. So pretty cool, and we've covered that extensively. So yeah, I really enjoyed this. I hope you guys enjoyed it out there. So let us know what you thought.
Yeah, they don't really do DVDs anymore, but it'd be cool if they ever did a DVD of some unreleased Undertaker matches. I'm sure there's even more just sitting in the archives,
golly,
some
yeah.
cool stuff to see. I'd love to see them do some more of it. But for now, this will do. And so, in a few weeks when we're not here anymore, you're looking for some Undertaker content to go discover. There's some great stuff to go look at. If you enjoyed this episode, go check out. We've got some other bonus episodes of The Undertaker in WCW, where we cover his WCW run as Mean Mark. We have The Undertaker in ECW, where we talk about his 2 ECW and sci-fi matches and sort of brainstorm what it would have been like if he'd been in the real ECW, kind of fantasy book that. And then we have a whole Fantasy Warfare episode where we talk about all the Undertaker matches we never got to see. They weren't even hidden gems. They were never happened or never happened on pay-per-view, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
That's another one of my favorite episodes we did.
It's a
So
lot of
go
fun.
check those out if you haven't before. But we will keep rolling on to the last ride as we approach the last year of the Undertaker's career, 2020. The last year as we know it. And we'll hit Super Showdown 2020 next month for a gauntlet match that ends with The Undertaker facing off with AJ Styles. And, it's not much of a match as far as The Undertaker's concerned.
Right.
So we're going to do this one watch-along style. We're going to look back at the different guys in it. We may just riff on, memories of doing this podcast and all that stuff for these final episodes. Might answer some listener questions. Who knows? We'll talk about R-Truth in there, and I think John Morrison is in it. Maybe did I make that up? No, he's not in. He's not back yet. I can't remember
back.
who.
He came back in the 2019.
Oh, he
He's
did.
back.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I can't even.
He came back shortly after they went on Fox. So
Okay.
he's back. He may be in that match. I don't know. We'll find out. It's a surprise.
We will. We'll watch it. We'll do commentary for it. And then we'll do the Boneyard match in 2 weeks. And then in 3 weeks, we will wrap it all up with the grand finale here. So hit us up with your comments about that one. Hit us up. Tell us your favorite hidden gem. Point us out to some other ones on YouTube or Daily Motion. Some other stuff. That would be fun to see. Dig it out from the archives. And go support us. Go check us out on YouTube. You can see my vintage Attitude Era shirt that
Yeah,
I've
look
got
at
on. You see Travis's Need to Breathe hoodie
No diggity.
on. And tell us who you think we sound like or who you thought we were going to look like based on who we sound like.
Yeah, wasn't that? Who was that said they thought we were? Was
I
that
think
Jeremy?
no,
Bang
well,
or
maybe.
Randy?
Yeah, it might have been. Yeah, I think we've heard that before. Yeah, they said our looks match the other person's
Yeah,
voice.
they thought that like my voice was your face and your face was my voice. That's like a Joe Dirt. You want to fight
Right.
about my face and your butt? He said that to Kid Rock. So to bring it all full circle. So anyway, yeah. If you guys, we have more comments from Twitter or anything?
No, I didn't,
You
but
go.
I know you had some comments from the Dead Man that you were
Oh
going to bring
yeah,
up.
yeah. I wanted to touch on this real quick. Let me pull it up real fast. So, this was kind of going back to last week's episode with the Extreme Rules match again. His last like full on legitimate match inside of a ring on American soil. So there was an interview that he did with Justin Barrasso from Sports Illustrated, and he's talking about that match, and he says that That match meant a lot to me. He says, I go all the way back with Shane when he was in college. I have a long-lasting relationship with all the Samoans. Roman's one of the Samoan greats. And as a human being, I think the world of him. And Drew's one of those genuine guys. Anytime I'm around, he's right there picking my brain. Not doing it because it looks good to others. He does it because he genuinely wants to be better. Those are two legitimately great stars. And then he goes on to talk about also during that match, he says Elias deserves a lot of credit too, for that matter, because he was another guy involved in making that match. And he said I was comfortable working with all those guys. And I just thought it was pretty cool that he talked about that, and put those guys over, because we mentioned that last week, that you could tell he thought highly of them, and their job that night was to help give him that confidence back.
Yeah.
So he says that he ends the interview, this part of it, talking about that that was a fun night. We were all on the same page. We knew what the objective was, and that match was special. And Roman and Drew are very special talents and two of the best at what they do. Which, regardless of how you feel about the current product, I agree that those two are the two best, besides from like an AJ Styles. But as far as the new regime, those are the two best guys they got going right now. So anyway, I just want to say Taker gave him seal of approval, and it's pretty cool.
That's a big deal. That's big good enough for me in my book. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's one of those chokeslam tombstones. So yeah. So anyway, if you were there at any of these hidden gems, if you were at Penn Station, if you were in Kuwait, if you were in Finland, any of these, we'd love to hear from you. That'd be a hidden gem for us, man.
That would be really cool
as we go off the air in a few weeks. So yeah, let us know what you thought of these, and even these random crazy ones that Alex touched on with Hakushi and stuff like that. It's crazy, but let us know what you thought, and stay safe out there, ladies and gentlemen, and most importantly, take her easy